So welcome guys again, and this is a video of introduction to parasitology. Now study of microorganism, okay. Small organism is called as microbiology. In the microbiology we have a certain term such as fungus, then study of fungus is called mycology, then bacteria, study of bacteria called bacteriology, then virus, study of viruses called as virology. Then we have our main topics parasites. Study of parasite is called parasitology. Then we have a medical parasitology. So there is a difference between the simple parasitology and medical parasitology. In the medical parasitology, we study only those parasites who infect and produce disease to human being. Very important. And about each parasite that cause infection to human being, we learn about certain thing about that, such as morphology there, life cycle there, pathogenesis of parasite or symptom they cause to us, then laboratory diagnosis, treatment, how they transmit from one person to another person, then prevention of the disease. Now each parasite has two names, one genus name, another is species name, such as Antuba histolytica or Ascaris lumbricoides. So our genus name, that is first one, Entamoeba. So you can see first letter E is in capital letter, okay, and this is here written initial capital letter, okay, for the generic name, and species name with small letter, and you can see the species histolytica name is small letter. Now we have a host parasite relationship, and in this we have a three common thing such as symbiosis, in which both the partner get benefit from each other, okay, neither of the partner is getting harm. Another is a commensalism, so in which parasite get benefit but without causing injury to the host cell, okay. And important thing in this, we have a Entamoeba coli, okay, which is a parasite that remain in our intestine but do not cause any infection, and they can survive within our intestine. Another, we have a parasitism, and this is very important because in the medical parasitology we are studying this type of parasite, okay. An association in which parasite benefit and host suffer from injury, very important. Now what is parasite? So it is an organism that depend upon another organism, okay, and this another organism is called as host. In most of cases this host are we human being, okay. And why they depend upon another organism? For their survival. Now this parasite divided into two types. One is microparasite, another is macroparasite. So the microparasite is a small in nature and unicellular, made up of only single cell like protozoa, such as in case of Entamoeba histolytica. I already post the video of Entamoeba histolytica. You can see there is a only single cell, okay. In case of Giardia laminae, we have a trophocyte like a racket shape. In case of macrocyte, they are large in nature, okay, such as Ascaris lumbricoides. We can see even 15 centimeter, 30 centimeter, okay, because due to multicellular, we human being are also multicellular. So in the macroparasite we have a helminthes, okay. Now this helminthes divided into three types: nematode, castode and trematode. In case of nematode, we have a cylindrical body, as you see, like our finger, which is cylindrical nature. Another important thing is nematode having a male another and female another, okay. We have a male nematode and female nematode, and unsegmented, as you see in case of castode we have a line in between the cell, okay. But in case of nematode we can't see this segmentation. Basically segmentation meaning dividing of body. In case of nematode we have examples such as Ascaris lumbricoides, then we have a whipworm, hookworm. This is come under in nematodes. In case of castode, we having a tape like structure, okay, like we open our cello tape, okay, so they are flat in nature. Another important thing for castode is bisexual, so male and female organ, or we can say sexual organ, having in a single parasite. And the castode is a segmented, you can see the segment in the parasite. Another, we have a trematode, so they are leaf-like structure, you can see, bisexual except cystosomes. So bisexual mean containing both female and male sexual organ within a single parasite, okay. But except from cystosome, cystosomes are male cystosomes different and female cystosomes are different, and they are also unsegmented. So only the segmented one is castode, they are tape-like structure. So very important. Please remind this carefully. Now classification based on endoparasite and ectoparasite. Endo means inside. So a parasite which live inside the body of host is called as endoparasite. And we have a protozoa that live inside our intestine, and helminthes also live inside our intestine. Some of can live in blood or other organ, okay, but although they are inside the body. A parasite which lives outside the body of the host cell is called as ectoparasite, okay. Now ectoparasite lies in our hair, okay, and tick in the dog. So these are the ectoparasite, they live outside the body. Another, we have a classification based on habitat, so where they live. First one is obligate parasite. Obligate means compulsory. So these parasite necessary or compulsory require a host for their life cycle. In case of facultative parasite, so these are the parasite which may live outside the host, or in case of opportunity they cannot also enter into the host. So they can live both life, free from parasite and within parasite. Another, we have an accidental host. So as the name suggests, accidental, so they come by accident into the human body, okay, such as in case of Echinococcus granulosis, which is a parasite of dog called as dog tapeworm. But children are very affection towards the dog, so they get infection. So these parasites called accidental parasites. Another, we have aberrant parasite. So these are the parasite, they can attack the host but they cannot survive in the host or cannot develop further from larva to adult stage, okay. Another, we have a host, very important because we are the host for the parasite. An organism which provides stay to the parasite, provide the nourishment and shelter to the parasite. So we are human being and we giving the shelter and nourishment to the host for their living. So hosts are two type, definitive host and intermediate host. In the definitive host, we see the adult stage of parasite, okay. Then sexual reproduction of parasite also occur in the definitive host. In mostly cases, definitive host is always man, okay, human being. But few are exceptional cases where the female anosphelos, such as in case of mosquito, it become a definitive host. Intermediate host, just alternative to definitive host. So here we see the larval stage, here we also see the asexual case. In the definitive we see the sexual stage, so they are just alternative to each other. And in the intermediate stage, always the host is except from the man, but the man is also intermediate host in few cases, such as in case of malaria, man is intermediate host and female anopheles is definitive host. Another, we have a type of host. So vector, such as a malaria is act as vector host. So they transport one person to another person, plasmodium, okay, and cause a malaria infection. Culex mosquito also. And we have a parentenic host. So these are the hosts where the aberrant parasite enter, okay, because in this host larval stage of parasite survive but does not develop further, okay. So larval to adult stage cannot develop in this parentenic host. Another, we have a zoonosis. As the name suggests, zoo mean we get the infection from the animal, okay. So they are the host who get infection from the animals, such as in case of Tenus saginata and Solium, human can get infection from directly or indirectly from the pork or beef, okay. In case of Echinococcus granulosis, a man get also infection from dog. So these come under zoonosis, okay. Another, we have a reservoir host. So they are the hosts that reserve the parasite within, and they can cause infection to directly to another person, such as from male to female or vice versa during kissing, sexual intercourse, or even they get auto infection, okay. While the parasite in the body, they get into inactive stage, and after some time they get active and again infect to that host, called as auto infection. Another, we have a source of infection. So we get infection from contaminated soil, okay. If we eat a food that is contaminated with soil, so we can get infections such as Ascaris lumbricoides, Trichuris trichuria. So if we eat contaminated water that is contaminated with maybe fecal of an infected person, so we can get Entomba histolytica, Giardia lamblia, which cause diarrhea to us, okay. Now by taking a raw or undercooked beef of pork meat, So we can get Taenia solium and Taenia saginata. Insect vector, okay. So these are the vectors that cause malaria from mosquito, and sandfly cause kala-azar to us. And some of the infection we can take also from pet animals such as dog and cat, toxoplasma and echinococcus I already told you. Now mode of infection. Now how we get the infection, okay. So we get the infection fecal oral route. Very important thing, because most of the parasite we get into our body by this fecal oral route, okay. So oral transmission, which is the part of fecal oral route, common method for transmission, okay, because we eat food, water mostly, and we can affect with this parasite. Another is skin transmission, okay. So in this we can get parasite by skin penetration, such as in case of hookworm infection, where the larva enter into our skin if we walking on a contaminated soil. Another is vector transmission. So many parasite disease that transmit by the bite of some insect, such as malaria from the bite of female Anopheles mosquito, and filariasis by the bite of Culex mosquito. Another, we have a direct transmission. So parasitic infection may be transmitted by person to person by direct contact, kissing, or by sexual intercourse. Especially in case of sexual intercourse, we have seen commonly trichomoniasis, parasitic infection. Another, we have a vertical transmission, where the parasite goes from mother to fetus via placenta. Okay, so malaria is very common. And another, we have a toxoplasmosis, which is called as congenital toxoplasmosis. Iatrogenic transmission. So iatrogenic, basically if we take an infection from the hospital, parasitic infection from the hospital, maybe during surgery by the surgeon or anything, but directly from the hospital, called as iatrogenic transmission. So type of life cycle, we have a direct life cycle and indirect life cycle. In case of direct life cycle, only one host is required for the further development of any parasite. That is called as direct and simple life, because only one host needed. Now another is the indirect life cycle, where we require more than one host, okay. One is final host, another is intermediate host. Final host also called as definitive host. We also call this complex life cycle because we need two hosts. Another is pathogenesis. When the parasite enter into our body make antibody against them, and which will lead to cause some redness, or we also say allergic reaction to our body. And in some cases, such as in hookworm infection, when the parasite take entry from our bare foot, so we can see some bleeding, and finally trauma. So these are some pathogenesis. Another, we have a laboratory diagnosis. So in the laboratory diagnosis, we diagnose with either microscopically or macroscopically. Macroscopically mean with the naked eyes, or microscopically with microscope, okay. First one is blood. So we can make a blood film to diagnose such as Plasmodium vivax species and Wucheria bancrofti. Another, we can also examine stool. We can examine stool with macroscopically to identify whether the stool texture is what type, okay, smell of stool, okay, and whether the stool containing blood or not, mucus, maybe fat or not. So these are some clue that help to diagnose a parasite. We can also directly see the Ascaris lumbricoid adult worm, okay, which may be 15 centimeter, 30 centimeter. So we can also examine Ascaris lumbricoids in the stool. While in microscopically, we can make a smear of our stool, and we can see the cyst of Entomia histolytica and Giardia lamblia. Also we can see the freshly passed stool trophozoite stage also. We can also see the egg of Ascaris lumbricoid under the microscope. Another, we have an immunodiagnostic method. So immunodiagnostic method include antigen antibody detection, okay. Whether we have to identify antigen, just such as in case of Plasmodium, we can identify the antigen with the help of antibody, and the antigen is histidine rich protein 2, okay. Plasmodium lactate dehydrogenase also we can identify as antigen with the help of antibody, and vice versa. We can also identify antibody, because when parasite enter into the human body make antibody against them, so we have to identify that antibody with the help of non-antigen, and this is come under immunodiagnostic method. Another, we have an intradermal skin test. So in case of Cossoni reaction, we can use this intradermal skin test to identify Another, we have a culture method. We can also culture our parasite inside labs, such as in case of acanthamoeba. In some cases we also inoculate our parasite inside the animal to identify whether the parasite is present or not, such as in case of toxoplasma. We can also use some radiological technique, x-ray, ultrasonography, CT scan. This come under radiography. So basically they are seen in case of when the Entamoeba histolytica cause some extra intestinal illness, in case of they enter into the liver, brain. So we use this x-ray, ultrasonography, etc. to identify our parasite. Okay. Also we have some higher technique such as molecular diagnosis, PCR, DNA probe, which help to identify our bacteria, but they're very costly. Now we have a treatment. So in case of treatment, we can use antiparasitic drugs, albendazole, mebendazole, thiabendazole, then quinine, chloroquine, and we can also do surgery in case of cystic echinococcus hydatid disease, because cyst may present into our liver and we have to remove this type of cyst with the help of surgery. Finally is prevention. So one thing in case of prevention is we have to make hygienic condition, okay, because most of the parasite transfer from the fecal route. So we have to make hygienic condition. Wash always hand before taking food. Do not take raw food, okay, always cook them. And we can use RO water or boiled water according to requirement. So these are the things come under prevention. So I hope you understand very well. So if you watch the video very carefully, so tell me which of the helminthes contains segments in their body. And thank you.